La Amarga Formation in Argentina was the home of the Amargasaurus, and tomorrow, the Amargasaurus is returning to Jurassic World Evolution 3, so I'm here with a first look at the species, and we're going to build them a home. Amargasaurus is one of my favourite sauropods. The unique spikes that they have, which we'll discuss in detail a bit later, are so cool. Probably up there with Brachiosaurus and Patagotitan in my top 3 sauropods. Frontier kindly gave me early access to the new dinosaur, or the returning dinosaur. So I've put together a little build so we can take a look at them. We've got the full family unit now, so we have some baby Amargasaurus to see, as well as the male and female. So I thought I'd do some research into where the Amargasaurus lived, and then see if we can recreate the environment that they were found in, so that we have somewhere appropriate to put them when we reveal them at the end of the video. Amargasaurus was discovered in Argentina in 1984 in the rocks of the La Amarga Formation, which date back to the early Cretaceous. They were discovered in the oldest part of the formation, the Puesto Antiguo member, and that consists mainly of sandstone laid down in the channels of what's called the braided river system, and that's what we're building here. So a braided river is where you have loads of smaller or larger rivers all running together, almost like hair braids, which is where the name comes from, and then dotted amongst them are little islands. They tend to be quite temporary. Larger islands will be there for centuries or millennia, but then you'll have little islands that kind of pop up one day and then disappear after a flood a few months later. It's quite a dynamic environment, and I thought it'd be fun to try and build something like that here, with waterways, with little islands between them. We'll decorate it all, and then we'll pick a couple of islands where we want the Amargasaurus to make their home, and add whatever plant life that they need to feed, and a nest as well, so that we can see the babies. Doing this with a mixture of the deep and the standard water tools. I'm making the rivers with the deep water tool, and then using the remove water tool to create little islands, and then the shallow water tool to kind of get a better graduation between the water and the land. And then I'm going to cover the whole map pretty much with some of the arid landscapes to get rid of all of the water lilies that are kicking about everywhere at the moment. The most distinctive thing about the Amargasaurus is the giant bone spines that stick up out of their back, and scientists are still debating what they actually look like. There's 2 main theories. Firstly, that they were covered in keratin, like the horns of a rhino, and were spikes used for defense and probably display. And that's the theory that Frontier have obviously gone with in the look of the dinosaurs in the game. And then there's a newer theory which is currently gaining more support than the previous, which is that the spines were actually the support for a big sail, like a dimetrodon. According to my research anyway, we're still unsure as to which one of those theories is true. So for now, at least, the interpretation of the dinosaur that we have in the game is accurate. And what could be cooler than a sauropod with giant spikes on it? They are awesome. We've almost finished removing all the water lilies now, and once we've done that, that is the basics of this braided river system done, and we can go in and start decorating it and making it look like the early Cretaceous. Last one now, and then we'll take a look at it. So this is starting to look pretty natural, but it's severely light in plants, so let's go in and start adding all the plant life in that we want. If you're wondering, by the way, why you're watching the first speed build on this channel in about 3 years, then I'll tell you. Frontier sent me early access to the Amargasaurus yesterday as I record this, as I was in the middle of making this week's episode of Jurassic World Northwest and doing the voiceover for a zoo tour that's going to be on the Zoo Tours channel in a few hours' time when you watch this. So I had about 3 hours to come up with an idea, build it, film it, edit it, and voice it. So I decided the speed build would be the quickest way to do that, because it normally takes me about a day to edit my videos, and I did not have a day. But I think this looks pretty cool when it's done, and most importantly, we get to see the Amargasaurus family unit. So I hope you enjoy it when we get to the cinematics. What I'm doing here is using the forest to create boundaries for this area, so you sort of can't see past the end of it, so we don't need to decorate the entire map. And then I'm using a mixture of the different terrain tools to add detail. So the early Cretaceous is when the first ever flowering plants appeared on Earth. I don't think they were as varied and delicate and pretty as flowers are now, but I thought it'd be fun to chuck a few flowers in here and there just to represent that. And then mainly we're using little bits of conifer and then loads of the brushland to add interest to the islands. This is the last of the borders here. This is going to prevent us from being able to see outside of the map. And there we go. That's starting to look really good now. I'll add a couple more trees off camera. And once we've done that, we'll go in with some rocks to add some further interest to the landscape. We'll have some under the water and then some on the islands. Rocks and foliage, always the way to make your builds look good. When I planned this, I was thinking about what other dinosaurs we could have in here along with the Amargasaurus. And at the moment, the answer to that is none. When I looked into it, the other dinosaurs that lived in this area at the same time as Amargasaurus that have been discovered so far are Zapalosaurus, amazing name, but not in the game. Amargatitanis, which sounds awesome, but which again is not in the game. And then an indeterminate stegosaur and a small relative of the ceratosaur called Ligabueno. But seeing as none of those are in the game at the moment, our Amargasaurus are going to have to carry this landscape on their own. But they are pretty cool, so I think they'll be able to do that. We'll have quite a sizable group in here once we finish building. The last thing we're going to do is add in a load of dead trees. There's just something about having dead trees scattered about amongst all the living trees that always brings an environment together. And with this much water, we can have some of them floating in the water as well, which looks really effective. We'll just add in a nest, and we are done. Here we go. This is what the environment looks like. Really nice in the setting sun here. Got some of the logs sticking up out of the water. Time to get the Amargasaurus out. Welcome home, my spiky friend. Love the massive spikes on the male here. The females have much smaller spikes, and then the babies have adorable little spikes. We'll see those in a minute. I've placed them on 2 of the islands that we built. We've got the big male roaming through it here. We've got 3 females, and then with a nest, hopefully we will have some babies soon as well. They do look absolutely magnificent. They're pretty small for sauropods, but I think those massive spikes more than make up for it. Man, I love these dinosaurs. This is what that Amarga formation looks like now. I've placed in all the different foods that the dinosaurs want to eat. They found them now. Really nice feeding animations here with their tiny little mouths in comparison to the rest of their body. Their little peggy teeth. And then you can see the sexual dimorphism here between the giant spines of the male and the smaller but still impressive spines of the female. And now one of the females is making their way over to the nest. So shortly, we'll be able to take a look at the babies. Apart from sort of in our Isla Sorna build, I've not done a natural environment yet in this game. Really enjoying how this one looks. And this was literally like an hour's building. Really need to do a proper standalone natural environment build at some point and really go to town on all the vegetation. And here are the little Amargasaurus babies. How adorable are they? Their tiny little spines just tip-tapping along the floor here. Frontier always do a great job at making the babies. Let's go in for a close-up. I would have put these into Jurassic World Northwest, but we've not started the Cretaceous area yet, so I didn't have anywhere to put them. What a cutie. And there we go. That is the Amargasaurus. They will be available in the game in a free update for everyone tomorrow. I hope you enjoy building for them, and I'll see you next week for some more Jurassic World Northwest. Thanks for watching.